Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Constable Melanie Flynn with the Lloydminster RCMP. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Shelby.
Of course, glad to be able to have you on here because now it is time with the school year right around the corner. It's coming up real quick here. The Lloydminster RCMP are wanting to give a reminder to people with street crossing and in school zones when you are driving. So I just wanted to be able to help get that reminder out there and help get the word out. Now, what is the Lloydminster RCMP really wanting to focus on?
Well, we just want to make sure the city's aware that parents, teachers, and kids are all excited to get back into their school routine, and the school zones will be busier with pedestrians and even cyclists and motorists. So we just want to remind residents to be vigilant and just be more alert when driving through the city this next, Thursday, Friday, and then moving into the school year. So just some safety tips from the RCMP, just to remind parents and motorists to be alert and drive cautiously. Give yourself that extra time to get to your destination, to get where you're going. With buses on the road and stuff, you may get stuck behind a bus, unfortunately. And just be aware that the yellow lights, obviously those caution lights come on, and then the red lights and the stop signs come out, and we're expecting motorists to stop. Don't pass a bus while it's loading kids up, and keeping that safe distance from the bus. We talk about kiddos walking to school. There's going to be more with the nice weather. Kids are going to be walking, so we encourage kids to use the marked crosswalks and hit the flashers, hit the buttons where they are allocated, and then just walking with a friend as well, and making sure you're using that extra caution and looking both ways when you're crossing the road.
And I know you were speaking a little bit already on the drivers, so I kind of wanted to expand a bit on that. Could you kind of give some tips for drivers as well when it comes to school zones that you would suggest?
Well, we need to be reminded that school zones are a thing, right? So a lot of the areas where there is a park or school, speed decreases to 30 kilometers an hour. So you need to be slowing down in those areas, and do a bit of a reminder as to what the rules of the road are, and stopping for those intersections, marked or unmarked, right? Just being vigilant and yielding at those intersections and taking that look side to side to make sure there are no pedestrians crossing. We want to be reminded that pedestrians do have the right of way at crosswalks and marked walkways and stuff like that.
And for on the pedestrian side of things, for the kids and families, what are some suggestions that the RCMP are wanting to give that they should do instead, on a crazy early morning when it comes to school, that they should do instead of what they're doing right now, to make things a little bit safer for them?
Just giving yourself that time to get where you're trying to get. This getting back into routine can be pretty chaotic, and sometimes we're feeling rushed, and we don't want to feel that way. So give yourself that extra 5-10 minutes to be able to make it to your destination safely. So if the kids are not familiar with the school zone and the walk to school, maybe a practice walk with a parent, is something I'd recommend, so that kids know the path that they're to take and the path that they're to take to come home. And then parents are also aware at what path the kids are taking to get to school and to get home, just to ensure they're safe. And then for kids that might be in that range of 10 to 12, where they're starting to 10 to 16, when they're walking on their own, right? That parents know the routes that their kids are taking is important. And making sure you're telling your parents when you're leaving the house, right? In the morning, to have that timed well, so everyone knows where everyone is and where they're supposed to be.
I wanted to also bring up, there has been stories around, of course, showing that kids and families are actually practicing getting on the school bus and being prepared, for their route to school and everything, just kind of getting ready to just know what to do and how to get to school safely and how the procedure works to get on the school bus. So what is the Lloydminster RCMP thoughts on that?
Yeah, practice is definitely, that's great. And I know the schools that's part of their get ready to school planning, is to have those days where families coming to new schools, or just families returning to schools, to kind of get out those first week jitters, right? And allowing for that time and that even the tour of the school and stuff like that. So it's really important, and we agree that those routines are great to practice before you start. Just a reminder, like you will see an increased presence of patrolling officers in marked vehicles, as well as um, our peace officers here around town, just ensuring, and we're there just ensuring speeds are where they should be at, and making sure kids are getting where they need to go safely, getting to the school safely. So
Perfect. So I'm really glad we were able to speak on this and help kind of get that reminder out there for families, just in time with the school year coming up real quick here. Time flies. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, Constable Flynn.
thanks, Shelby.